Alrighty, let's do a quick mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Alright, I think that works. Sounds okay to me. Um, Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Let me just pop out chat so I can get the chat windows in the right place. Uh, eh, all right. Hey, Des, Mike Works. I don't see you on Twitch yet. Wait, really? You don't see me on Twitch yet. What about now? It says I'm live on Twitch. Weird. Sorry, I didn't see chat until just now. Now I have chat up in the right place. I can see everything. Alrighty. Alright. Here we are. Alright. There we are. And now I'm going to mute myself as I blow my nose. Hey, Des, you've been a moderator on my channel for 6 months, apparently. I want to say thank you. I appreciate you helping out with that. I know my chat is generally minimal, but I still appreciate it, so thank you. This is it's an honor. Uh, Thank you. I don't know that I agree, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you very much. All right, let's get my palette out. I have been working a little here and there on the last portrait that I was doing, but at this point, it's getting very close to finish. So it's like it's all detail now. It's like little stuff. And honestly, I just kind of need to work on it on my own, not have to worry about where the camera is, where my head is, any of that. So I've been just kind of fiddling, working on it when I have the time. But it's getting close to finished. Um, and I have a commission for a cat painting, so I thought I'd do that instead of working on the portrait today. So, yeah, gonna work on that. Let me just get a paper towel real quick. It's a small commission, but still. Hey, kitties, have you seen June Alice around? I haven't seen her in forever. No, I haven't seen. Well, I mean, I haven't seen her on my channel. I've seen her online. I'm in one of her discords. Um, so I've seen her online. She's still painting cats and still, doing all the stuff. I mean, there's some more, but I don't know what she shared on Face. I don't know what she shared publicly versus privately, so I'm not gonna, say what she's been up to lately. But I think I've seen her on Instagram too, quite a bit. I'm not, if I remember correctly. I do hate how Instagram, and Facebook handle their algorithms now. So it's like you literally can follow someone and then never see their updates and so on. That says, I saw she made a post on Instagram the other day. One of her kitties passed. Yeah, I saw that. But I never see her in stream. And so, yeah, no, she hasn't been in stream. Been dealing with, um, dealing with that. And also, my streams I haven't been doing a good job with my streams as far as like time zones and consistency and all of that. We'll see. My schedule's changing um this week. Well, after this week. So I might try and shake up how I handle everything on, as far as streaming. Like maybe I'll try and set a consistent schedule for the week and stream like I don't know. I've been thinking about like possibly streaming like 3 times a week, but just for shorter times, and it would be earlier in the day too. So like, you know, um yeah, like I don't know, 11 local time to 11 to like 12:30 or something like that. So, a little shorter and just do that. I don't know, I've just been thinking about it. But yeah, I think consistency is really the lack of consistency has significantly hurt my streams, and that's one of the reasons that fewer people show up. Also, the YouTube videos. I really need to get back to making the YouTube videos. Just uh, it's just a lot to do all at once. Do everything. But yeah. So we'll see. I don't know exactly. It's tough trying to figure out like where do I put my time and energy. Because unfortunately, those are two things I have limited amounts of. All right. This is the same is happening to one of my gaming buddies on Twitch. She isn't consistent, and when she gets on fewer people visit. She's fun and has lots of friends. But life has taken her away more often. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I don't know. I have to figure it out. Um, like I said, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to put my energies and what it might end up being. like part of me wants to stream more, but part of me also thinks maybe um, I do think maybe just not, keeping it to once a week, and not that I've been able to do this, but in theory, keeping it to once a week and the rest of the time creating videos might be smarter than trying to stream more. Streaming more, I like because it's low effort in the sense of like um I don't want to call it low effort, but the stream itself isn't a lot of effort compared to the it's like I get to paint. Obviously it's effort to paint and it's effort to try and talk while painting and everything, but it's not um it's not high effort in the sense of like I don't have to edit or you know like I basically get if I make a video I have to paint, record, edit, uh voiceover, write voiceover, edit that, combine it all, a lot more effort versus just hopping on, turning on the computer, setting stream to go, and then just doing that. Okay, and my eye is driving me crazy. Perfect timing, of course. Second, eye drops. But yeah, I, I don't know. And then, if we're talking about like creating content, which I don't mind being, honest about everything and upfront about it. Another issue that comes up is like the type of content I make, because one of the things that's, if you listen to people who talk about it, they'll tell you is like a lot of painting, like a lot of artists make content for other artists, which makes sense. But a lot of time, other artists aren't the ones who actually buy their paintings, which is kind of a problem, you know. So then the idea is okay, then make content for people who, are going to buy your paintings, or to create people to buy your paintings, to make them want to buy your paintings. But then it goes away from like the art creation side of things that says, yeah, we're too broke, haha. I mean, I get it. I understand. I mean, I can't afford the paintings I want to buy from artists I love. So it's very common, That's a common problem. So I don't know. We'll see. That's why artists switch to teaching courses to other artists, because artists are more likely to spend their money on their hobbies, passions, rather than buying other artists' work. Oh, absolutely. And I will admit I've thought about doing that as well. I mean, I did teach a workshop once, and that was an interesting experience. And I do think I could teach, workshops and stuff. Um, but I don't know. I've debated how to handle, you know, possibly teaching, um, because I would never claim to be the best at a lot of things. So on those things, it's like, well, yeah, I could teach those, but honestly, you're probably better off going somewhere else. I'm not gonna lie and say, "Oh no, I'm the best teacher ever for everything." Absolutely not. But I do think that I can teach some things, um, and I definitely have a perspective I think that is a little different than some artists. So, sometimes with teachers, it's not about like um, them being the best at everything, but it's how you gel with them, kind of thing. So, maybe I don't know, but uh, once again, I then run into a problem of time. You know, uh, it's obviously it's challenging. This surface is really feels very dry. So even though I have paint on my brush, it comes off. Everything feels very dry right now. But yeah, I don't know. I have thought about either trying teaching or like I mean, there's different ways of doing it. You could do it as a workshop or as a one-on-one type of thing. Um, so yeah, I've thought about doing that, but I don't know. I feel like I do teach a little in my streams sometimes. When I talk about like the process and my thoughts and people ask questions and so on. Um, and that I do enjoy. But yeah, I don't know. I think also like I've been thinking about it and I'm not sure. Um, there's a what's it called? There's a local art community center type of thing here, and they recently put up a thing for like people to apply to be teachers, but you don't just apply to teach. You apply like by submitting like a workshop concept or something. And one of my issues is time. I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if I'll have the time to like do it. And then the other thing was, I was just like, I don't know what I would offer as far as like a workshop type of thing. Like, I don't know what subject I would, I would offer. So, not sure. I've been just thinking about it. What should I what should I do with that, if anything? And then, not that I have enough of a following for this yet, but a lot of artists do the Patreon thing, which I totally understand why they do that. Um, but like I said, I don't have enough followers to even make that work. But if I did, I don't know exactly how I would want to structure that because I, yeah, I don't know. Like I like doing a lot of things for free because then it's like there's no gatekeeping. And I'm not saying that people who do um, Patreon stuff are necessarily gatekeeping. It's a financial thing, right? Like people need to make a living. But so I'm not saying that I would never do it, but I don't know exactly how I would structure it if I did it because I do like the idea of just like giving away this stuff. And it's not just like giving it away, it's just being like, this is free for whoever wants to participate. And so there's no gatekeeping and there's no limitations. Um, but okay, yeah, I don't know. This says I paid for my first Patreon membership the other day. It was much less restricted than YouTube about copyright and TOS, etc. So I watched reactions to shows that YouTube restricts. Yeah, that is a way that some people skirt some of those things, which I understand. Having said that, I don't think that applies much to, art. Like the only thing that kind of applies to that is like nudity and stuff like that, but Patreon's not great about that either, honest from my understanding. They're not as bad as YouTube, but they're not great about it. And I'm not doing sexually explicit artwork, but the human body, like just regular nudity, has been a part of, art for forever. And, you know, that I'm not, that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, YouTube isn't great about that. Um, so Patreon might be better specifically about that. And like I said, I don't think that the other aspect of TOS applies to me unless you count like the music I want to listen to. But my assumption is always that majority of people just don't want to listen to the music that I listen to. So it's not just, it's not purely what's it called? A TOS thing. It's also just not everyone likes heavy music. And while I tend to cuss a lot in general, um, and I kind of keep that to a minimum when I stream, I don't feel like it's always necessary. So yeah, you'd have to make a specific content for Patreon that wouldn't be available elsewhere, and that's an added hassle. It is an added hassle. I mean, there are ways of doing it where it's like it's not added content, but rather it's just like you know, like you do instead of streaming, instead of streaming um, on YouTube, I stream for Patreon only, and then later I can turn that into a video or something the same way that I would. Like then it's not, really like adding that much as it is just like or people put out the video early on Patreon versus YouTube, stuff like that. And there's lots of ways of like structuring it. There uh a lot of people have like the Patreon exclusive Discord, so you have like access to the person that way, um, stuff like that. Um, you know, and I could see making like let's say a few different tiers in my Discord, and it's like, hey, the Discord is free, but like if you want, special access, then pay a little, and then you get you know special access, and it's like I don't know, you get reviews of your artwork, or you get you know uh a weekly like hangout, or I don't know, like stuff like that. Like you can do stuff like that, where it's like I get, it kind of makes sense. And definitely like I can see it also being from a perspective of like if, let's say I don't expect this, but let's say I blew up and I was like super popular, right? And this is I say this because I don't think artists generally have to deal with this problem. YouTubers might, but artists not so much. But let's just say, right? Let's say I blew up and I became super popular, and my Discord became ginormous and very, very active. It makes sense to create a like a special tier where people can pay to get more access, because at that point, like I couldn't possibly keep up with everybody and I couldn't keep up with stuff. So like, well, I now have such limited time, you have to basically pay for my time, right? That makes sense. I understand when people are so busy, that's the case. Um, you know, but I don't know that artists generally, I don't think that's generally an issue with artists. I mean, I don't know, could be wrong about that. I will say this, I'm using the nickel azo yellow right now, and I feel like I go through it faster than the bismuth yellow because it's more transparent, and the bismuth yellow is so strong that I do feel like I go through the nickel yellow more faster. I mean, the flip side is it's much cheaper. Um, but yeah, you use a lot more yellow than I do. Um, I mean, I don't know, I guess. I mean, depends on the painting, I suppose. Generally, yeah, it just depends on the painting. I will say yellow is one of those things where it's like um I feel like I go through yellow quite fast compared to the other colors in general because yellow um is so weak. So I always have to add so much more of it. The other thing is that because every everything else on my palette is so cool, I think. Because even the red, um, I would say is a red that leans a little towards the cool side, the rose. Um, so yellow really is like the warmth that I have. And so when I'm mixing skin tones or, you know, other, other things, I mean, anytime I'm mixing skin tones, almost there has to be yellow mixed in, because without it, people just won't look right. So yeah, I think yellow gets introduced to like a lot of my mixes because of my palette, and it's such a weak color that it you have to add more of it. And bismuth yellow is much stronger than nickel yellow, but nickel yellow, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it right now. I don't know if I'll be buying more of it or not. Um, I'll be honest, it's a decent it's a decent substitution 80% of the time, depending on what you paint. If all you paint is flowers, no, it's not. But really what I have to do with the nickel yellow, I have to do some experiments and I have to see, can I mix with the azo yellow, nickel yellow? Can I mix a dark yellow that I can't mix with bismuth yellow? That's the thing I have to check. I thought I checked that. Um, I have to double check, like look again, because I thought I'd done that, and in my experiment, basically that wasn't the case. But I have to check again because I don't remember if I did that or if I was checking something else. Oh, we have the beginning of a cat. Not finished, obviously, but it. Imagine I just filled in the eyes and called the commission done. That would be funny. Wrong, but funny. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm going to just overlay this real quick in Photoshop. I already see some problems, and I'm pretty sure I know where some issues lie, but let's see. Um, yeah, I've paid for some I've paid for some what are they called? Um Patreons, and some of them are worthwhile, for sure. I don't think I take advantage of them as much as like some people do. Um but everyone's different. It's just like I don't know, I have a hard time posting like I'll get into like the Discord, and it's like some people are super active on other people, on not just other people's Discord, on Discord in general, and I struggle to be that active. Like I'll respond to stuff, especially if not right now as much as I wish, but like if I was uh home more or in studio more, stuff like that, I'd respond more. But yeah, some people are really, really active, and it's like, you know, I feel like they could probably take advantage of the Patreon Discord more, and I did not do as good a job of that. But whatever. This is kind of unrelated. Well, I mean, it's related to streaming, but a little unrelated in the sense that I have thought about making a VTuber character for myself, and then this box that I'm in right now would just be like a painted character of some kind, and then the you know um this would stay the same, which could be fun. You want one too for Twitch? I started looking into it. I'm pretty sure I could, with a little bit of time, learn how to rig one up. I don't know if a lot of them I feel like are moving towards 3D models. Now, to be fair, I don't think the 3D models look that good compared to the 2.5D ones, but you know, well, They're going to do what they want to do, I guess. The 3D ones have tracking with the hands, but the 2.5D ones are so much better, in my opinion. You have a friend who's a pear. He gets accused of trying to be some loud guy named Peanut. Oh yeah, Burnt Peanut is a like big name on Twitch right now. And because of that, he's had a lot of a lot of people copy him. So it does not surprise me that your friend is getting accused of that. Hey Don Lee, welcome. How you doing today? For those who don't know, Don Lee streams on Twitch, and he does digital art, sometimes gaming, but mostly digital art. And he does a lot of different types of stuff, a lot of pop culture and like really fun stuff. So if you want to check him out, it's Don Leo on Twitch. Doing okay. Been busy week. Surprise birthday party for my buddy's wife. Video shoot for my dad to help him with his hot rod. He used to take to car shows. Nice. Oh, to sell. Oh, okay. I haven't watched it yet, Don Lee, but I did see it also on Instagram, so I was gonna watch it when I get it, soon. I have to see what the terms of everything is, but depending, there's probably a good chance I'll try and enter something. Like I said, I have to check. Um, I think I would like, if I can get it done in time, I think I would like to enter in my self portrait that I'm working on because I feel like it's a powerful piece, but it kind of depends. Like I said, I have to watch the video and make sure it's fits and it's suitable and so on. Yeah, I think they want the painting showing a person doing an everyday thing. Like I said, I have to watch the video to see. I mean, I'll be honest. I still, if that's the limitation, I still feel, given how things are, I still feel like my self portrait fits. Uh, it feels kind of like an everyday task at this point. Like I said, I have to watch the video to see what they say, and then there might also be the option. A lot of times you can enter more than one painting at a time. So it could be one of the paintings that I enter. But yeah, I'll watch the video. Oh, first time chatter and Twitch. Miss Miss Troso. Hello, your painting is looking great. Uh is a cat of yours? No, this one isn't one of my cats. I have painted my cats before. Um, this is a commission for someone, so it's not my cat. But thank you, I appreciate it. And welcome. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a great day. Um, yeah, first time chatter, welcome. Uh, th this my Twitch stream and my YouTube stream, which I'm multi-streaming, are dedicated to my art and well, not just my art, but my oil paintings. And we talk about paintings and you know, art related stuff. Uh, a lot of the people here are artists, like Des, one of my moderators, but she's also a fantastic artist. Are you an artist by any chance? Like I said, I do oil paintings. These are all oil paintings, but it's not an obligation. I used to do digital art more, and we have people here who are exclusively digital, and some people who paint in acrylics for some reason. I'm kidding. Paint in acrylics if you want. I just joke. But yeah. Anyways, welcome. Daz, you're such a snoop. Daz says just found his Instagram. Yes, he's an artist. Mistroso says I draw too, but mostly digital. My sister is the one who does oil paintings. Oh, very nice. I used to be an I went to art school and learned traditional painting and drawing, and mostly actually painted in watercolors and acrylics. And then I after school I basically went all digital. Um, it was all digital for years and years. And then I went back to traditional mediums, and um, once I figured out oils, it was that was it for me. Something just kind of clicked in it. I don't know. Now when I go back to digital, like I can sketch digitally, but to do like a finished painting in digital is so much harder now, in my opinion. Donley says I'm strictly an AI artist, so I'd say I'm more of an author, I suppose. My writing to image skills for spirit in most people's drawing skills. I'm kidding. Sorry. Donley is absolutely joking around. Donley is a digital artist, mostly. Um, and he streams here on Twitch. Check him out. But yeah, he's totally kidding around. You're not going to find a ton of AI support on this channel. That says I almost banned you for that. That's funny. Yeah. I will say I've actually been, and not in my art, but I've been using AI a lot more lately. But this is like a what's it called? Like a personal assistant, like calendar, stuff like that. Like add things to my grocery list, stuff like that. The things, simple stuff like that. Nothing. I don't use it for my art at all. Donley says, I'd say that's how it should be used. Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, you'll never hear me say that there's no room for its use in any way, right? Like that just doesn't make sense. But I mean, it's more about how it's being used and implemented and so on. Like, I mean, when they do like uh the magic erase tool that like removes, like power lines from a photograph or something like that. Like, and I don't care. That's fine. It's whatever. It just depends on how it's being used. Yeah. That says I ask Alexa what the temperature is in Paris and for the tennis matches, and I'd ask her to set timers. That's about it for me. Yeah, timers that too. yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. Like I said, it's like little stuff, you know. It's like, yeah, like I said, I feel like those that's very different than like, you know, the other stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll make a video about it one day if I ever get back to making videos, like I keep saying I'm going to do. So, Mastroso, what kind of things do you like to draw? What subject matter is your like interest, if any? This is, I'm sure she's going to end up telling me when to take bathroom breaks at some point. Oh, you see, I mean, that's actually a good use of AI, right? Oh, I mean, it's like a timer, but you know, it's so maybe it's not a good use of AI in the sense that you could just use a timer, but like, yeah, that's fine. You know, if you tend to get lost in your artwork or in your work when you're working and you forget to take breaks and you forget to eat and you know if like yeah you know some people will set timers um yeah nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I can think of a ton of ways of using AI that would be like helpful and also I would say not harmful, but like there's the issue of like the data centers, but like that aside, you know. Miss Joseph says, "What is your favorite part about oil painting?" Ooh, tough one. It kind of depends. Um, that's a that says when it's done. Ha ha ha. Well, no, I mean, if we're going to do that, actually, the earliest stages are my favorite. Like these stages are my favorite, and then once it's once you start getting into the like, okay, now it's time to finish it. It's like I don't feel like dealing with this anymore. That I start to lose interest. Um, Donnelly says the ability to continue working a painting. I mean, the fact that it stays open for longer is useful. Um, for sure. That says, yeah, the flexibility. Yeah, I mean, it is flexible, but you know, even if it dries, you can always just paint over, you know, you can just paint over it. I would say really the thing uh that says you can overwork though, you can, you know, I have issues with that concept, but you can. I would say, trying to think. Okay, oil paint for the most part at this point, when I'm doing a painting, of course I am dealing with the paint, but I'm not, I'm almost, there are occasions because there are limitations to the paint, but I'm almost never struggling with the paint. The struggle is to achieve the artistic output that I want. It's not about the paint anymore. Um, like I said, there are elements that you have to consider and you have to work within its limitations, but it's very forgiving, very easy to work with for the most part, and very little times where it's like really constrictive. Most of the time, the issue is, can I successfully get out the artistic elements that I want? And I will say the other thing about oil paint that I love is that it very easily allows the painting to be my painting, like not just exactly how I want it to be, but like my brush strokes come out, the way I handle the paint, the way I do everything. It's very individualized. Like, and so it achieves what I wanted with oil paint, which was I wanted to paint very personal paintings and make personal artwork. Even if it's a commission that I want to make. It's a commission that I want it to look like one of my paintings, so that when you see it, you know that's a painting done by me, regardless of if you saw the signature or not. Um, that type of thing. There's just, and of course, I really enjoy you know, I do like working with my hands. I like the fact that it's tangible. And at the end, when it's finished, you do have a tangible, one of a kind piece. And there is something very, very satisfying about holding that when it's done. When I worked digitally, I would print out my artwork, especially when I would do conventions, and it always felt really great to have like you know, the printouts, but the printouts really pale in comparison to the originals. Um, but yeah, it's just there's the it just feels like the paint in a way kind of falls away and it becomes more of like what you want to do with it. Whereas when I work with other mediums, like when I work with acrylics, I feel like the medium is fighting me half the time. Or you know, or when I'm working with um like I like watercolor, but sometimes it feels like I'm managing the paint because you put down paint and then you want to make sure the edges are clean or not, or whatever. So you have to constantly like I don't know how else to describe it. Like you're at that point I'm managing the paint and I'm not really like doing managing the subject or the painting itself. It's the paint. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a great description, but that's why I like oil paint. That and there's just something about I don't know. It like I understand working with values and color and you're kind of sculpting even though it's a flat image. Um and I mean I understand all that stuff in drawing, but I don't know, it makes more sense to me in painting than it does in drawing in a way. Yeah. And that's not to say, obviously that's not to say that I like oil painting more than drawing or like I enjoy doing it more, but when it comes to like artwork that I appreciate, it's not that at all. Like I originally wanted to do comic books and I still love all that stuff and illustration and like really sketchy artwork and like rough stuff too, where it's all scratchy and like mixed media stuff. I also love it. There's not a particular type of artwork that I hold above others in the sense of like what I like. And the difference is between what I like doing and between what I like looking at. Those are the differences. The eyes are definitely too far apart. Gonna have to fix that. It's funny because oil paint didn't click right away with me, but it took quite a while. And part of that was I was using, I think part of it was I wasn't using the right materials necessarily. That was part of it. I think if I'd taken some classes, it probably would have clicked faster. But yeah, once it clicked, I don't know, something, it's just one of those things sometimes. It's like I guess the way I would phrase it is kind of like, you know, the difference, like if you try if you try and use a couple different pencils, and you find the one that just like naturally feels better, that's kind of what ended up happening with oil paint with me eventually. It was just like, okay, once it clicked in my brain, I was just like, oh, this feels so natural now. And when I do paint digitally now, it feels so like I feel like I lack so much control when I paint digitally now compared to how I used to feel about it, which is very strange. Because it used to be like I used to paint digitally and feel very much in control of the whole thing. And now it's just like, oh man, it feels so. It's not that I don't know what I'm like doing. It it feels disconnected and clunky, I guess is the way I would put it. Digital is different mindset for certain things for sure. Absolutely. And digital when just when just drawing feels fine. It's digital when painting specifically feels very clunky to me. And what I mean by that is like the nuance of like what you can do with a brush, versus the nuance of what you can get the program to do is is very very different. Like, you know, and it's things like you can put down a brush stroke and kind of tilt it and then put a little more pressure on one side and it's so, it's a brush. It's very responsive. It's very natural. Um and there are definitely things you can do digitally to make it, more customizable. And there's tons of really cool tricks digitally. I'm not trying to put down digital. I'm just saying what the experience of what it feels like is just that makes it different. Hey, Cookie Monster, welcome. How are you doing today? Good to see you. Yeah, thank you. Good to see you too. This is actually probably going to be my last, not my last stream ever. I'm not going to try and bait people, but my last Sunday stream at these hours. For a couple months at least. My schedule's changing, and I won't be able to stream at these hours specifically on Sunday. But I'm still planning on streaming. I have to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. Um, if I'm going to try streaming earlier, or you know, uh, yeah, just kind of figure out where I'm going with things. Download this. Download. I don't think you can. Are you trying to share a link? Because it will not work if you are. You're going to stream at different hours, I hope. Earlier would be just good for me. When I see it's you, it's always the middle of the night where I live. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I am gonna stream. I'm not quitting streaming. I'm debating how exactly to continue it. But yes, I'm going to continue streaming. And the issue is trying to figure out, like, do I, do I stream earlier? My other thought is to stream. Um, I was actually thinking about streaming a little more often, and uh, maybe for shorter but more times a week, and have it scheduled. Uh, Green Monster says nearly 2 o'clock. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, that might work out better for you. um. So yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, because, like I said, my schedule's kind of changing right now with work and stuff. Um. So I'm just trying to think, figure out what will work the best. That says, "Oh, that's really late." I mean, it's not that late, depending on what you're doing. That says it's almost 9 p.m. here. Yeah, yeah. I'm a night person, so but I get it that not everyone is, and I get it that you can't always be, But I have no problem staying up till 2 p.m. That says I meant for Cookie Monster. Yeah, 2 a.m. rather. Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, Monster says I'm also a night person and my new girlfriend is too. Well, that's good. It's rough when you date. If you've ever dated a morning person and you're a night person, that's a rough combination. Congrats on the new girlfriend, too. I hope things go well. She's also an artist, but actually, we only met one time IRL. All right. Well, at least you know it's you're not getting catfish then. So, that's good. Yeah, with AI now, with catfishing, it's got to be insane. They says it's horrible. I get so many follows and messages from middle-aged professional men on Instagram, on Facebook. Totally bots. It's disgusting. Really. What's that? Catfishing? You don't know what. Okay, this says. Wait, this is when I don't respond to the men, they start throwing women at me. Funny. Catfishing is when someone pretends to be someone else. Like, someone, a guy will message you pretending to be a woman, trying to like date you online, and then, eventually they ask for money or something. They're scamming basically, the scam. But if you've met them in person, then they're real, right? Like that's the thing. There's a whole show called Catfish where they catch people who do it. Yeah. So it says I have cap painting I could do. I should work on it. Yeah, you should work on it. Commission painting means you get a client who asks you to paint this? Correct. Commission means essentially someone is paying for it in one way or another, whether or not they're paying cash or, sometimes there are other arrangements that can be made depending, depending on the circumstance. Cookie Monster says for money. Yeah, yeah, for money or something else. Donnelly says I gotta get going. Kitty is looking good. Take care, everyone. Take care, Donnelly. Yeah, I mean sometimes, for instance, I'm having a particular issue with some legal stuff um, with a what's it called? Um, Insurance issue, and so I have a lawyer, and I will be doing a painting to essentially pay for it because you know it's a way for me to pay without having to give money someone I know, so it's not just like you know it's not just random, but yeah, I sometimes do stuff like that. Like I did the painting of my friend who's a what's it called, a designer. We traded essentially. I did a painting for him. He did some designing and sewing for me. But yes, people also pay for commissions. 3 months says in a few weeks, my 180 painting will be finished. Congrats. I'm trying to think how large 180 centimeters is. Nah, it can't be 70 feet. No way, 70 feet. 70 feet is 70 inches maybe. 70 inches would be that would make sense. Feet wouldn't, because each foot is 12 inches. But each inch is like 2.5 roughly centimeters. Dresden! Aha! Meow. Say hello, Dresden. To anyone who's new, this is Dresden. This is one of my cats. I have 3 cats and a dog. This is Dresden. He's very fluffy and friendly, and he wants dinner right now. Miss Drosso says, oh, such a cute kitty. Yeah. He's named Dresden after Harry Dresden, the main character from the book series. Who's a wizard. And we then adopted, after him, we adopted a dog named Wizard. So we didn't name him Wizard. That was just his name. Hey, Burnt. Good to see you. And yeah, he's special in more way than one. He's definitely got like a lot of the, well, ginger traits that people claim are ginger traits. He has those in spades. But he's very sweet and fun. Can be annoying, of course, but he's also sweet. Dresden, that's you in the on screen. Don't freak out. For a while, he was afraid of my monitor because of the cat that lived in my monitor, which was him. I did paint him. Actually, I painted him twice. In the right little boy. Yeah. How old is he? I think he'll be 6. I'm trying to think what year we got him. I'm trying to remember. When we got him, he was only like 5 months old. I think we got him at the end of 2020. Was it end of 2021 or 2020? I think it was end of 2020. He looks polite. He is not polite. He's a moron. I love him, but he's a moron. We have seen him try and catch his own shadow. He slides into walls all the time because he goes too fast and gets excited. He has jumped into the corner of the wall and the ceiling, going after God knows what, because there was nothing there. He'll stand in front of closed doors crying because he wants to get inside, even though there's nothing really there for him. Yeah, I love him, but he can be an idiot. But he's also a sweetheart. He doesn't know how to attack. He doesn't try and hurt ever. He's just an absolute sweetheart. Like, he bites me all the time, but it never hurts. His scratches sometimes hurt, but not intentionally. But like, I play with him and he'll like bite my hand, and he doesn't bite hard intentionally. Love nibbles. Yeah, play nibbles, but he's not trying to hurt. He's just playing around. But right now, he wants dinner. He's just being extra sweet, though. Ain't that right, little boy? Let's see. Does the Cookie Monster says, Laura, I used the thread and wool in all colors, which I dip in acrylic binder and then form circles with them on my canvas. Quite experimental, but it looks awesome. That sounds awesome. Sounds cool. I have no idea what that would look like, but I mean, sounds like it could be trippy. Yeah, Cookie Monster does abstract work, and it does sound like his artwork is way more um, large scale. As far as I know, Cookie Monster does not post them anywhere, which is a shame. Actually, before I do this, let me take a quick photo. Wait, Cookie Monster says, I have a website, but I don't do social media yet. Why haven't you shared your website? Cookie Monster, I thought you didn't post your stuff online at all. All right, so right now I'm doing this off screen, but I'm in Photoshop. I'm just overlaying my painting in my reference so that I can see where things need to be adjusted. It's kind of like measuring or using a grid or a projector or something else, but you know, just different technique. You cannot post links here, Cookie Monster. They will not go through. You might be able to post like the .com without the .com part specifically. Like if it's like whatever www whatever .com, just like maybe without the without that extra stuff, like maybe I'll go through. Yeah, that did not go through. Let me see if I got a warning over here. No, no. See, the thing is, I'm supposed to get a I'm supposed to get a notification to allow it in or not, but it doesn't it doesn't let me do that, which is very frustrating. Hey, Burnt, by the way, sorry, I was busy with Justin. How are you doing today? We don't see it, no. Cookie Monster, we don't see it, and I can't. I'm supposed to be able to approve it, but I can't approve it, which is very frustrating. Um, I tried setting it up so that I can, and it just does not work properly. So yeah, um, very annoying. I don't know why the moderation doesn't give me the option. I don't know what what the issue is, but yeah. No, I can't see it. It the thing is it should allow like the moderators to see it, but it just doesn't. You see, it has here hold comments and hashtags and URLs for review, but I can't review it, so I don't know how to do that. Like there's no way for me to review it. No, Des, I cannot see it either. I can't see it either. That's how silly it is. It says it holds it for review, but I don't know. I don't know where because I can't see it. Des says she got it. All right, Des. It's one of those frustrations that like drives me nuts about streaming. Oh, thanks, Des. I appreciate it. All right, one second. Let's check this out. Oh, here we are. Come on. There we go. Oh, interesting. These are these are very cool. That's so interesting. I I would have no idea how to make these. Here, I can actually post it. So here we go. Oh, very cool though. Very interesting. Very pretty colors and everything too. I don't even, like I said, it's so much texture and so much stuff in it. I don't even know how I would, how one would go about, you know, making that. Hold on, oh, come on. What happened here? Oh, okay. Huh, weird. All right, there we go. Back at it. That's so cool. You can actually see my work. Yeah, it's so cool that I finally get a chance to see it. I can't believe it's taken this long. It's very neat stuff. Like I said, I don't even know how you do that stuff. Very impressive. And I'm sure that the website doesn't do it justice because I can tell your stuff needs to be seen, you know, in person, large. This is right. You need to share your work. Been studying, Cookie Monster has been studying composition lately, so I'm going to create some more dynamic works in the near future. That's cool. I look forward to seeing your new stuff, Cookie Monster, when you start doing more dynamic stuff. I'm curious what that looks like. All right, now things are more dialed into the correct location. still don't want it to be, like, I still don't want to use 100% black yet, but I do need to go darker with some of this. But I'm still trying to save my blackest black for later. One way I am trying to make the darker areas feel darker without lowering the value. I mean, I am lowering the value in some areas for sure, but I'm also adding a little bit of blue into everything, into the shadow more to cool them down. And I know that is not a revolutionary concept, but it does work really well. Yeah, I don't do a lot of large paintings. I do want to get back to doing larger paintings, and because I do enjoy it. The largest painting I've done in recently, well, no, let me rephrase that. The largest oil painting I've done was a 30-inch by 30-inch, which is not that large, really. I mean, it is large, but not really not that large. I've done larger paintings in the past with other materials, but that was the largest like oil painting I've done. But I do want to do some more. Actually, one of the kintsugi paintings that I want to do, I want to do it large because I think I think it would be so much uh, more powerful to do it larger than to do it at small scale. And by large, I don't know. I'm trying to think what how large I would want it to be. I think probably like 4 feet tall. That would be what, 48 inches? 4 by, either it's 4 by 3 or 4 by 2, or maybe cut the difference and do 4 by 2.5, somewhere in there. Which is not a standard size. I'd have to look and see if I can find a standard size that fits it, but it doesn't have to be standard size. I can always make my, you can make your canvas whatever you want it to be, right? It does not have to be standard. But yeah, I think it would be, definitely think it'd be more powerful if it was larger. So painting larger is so much fun, but you got to keep in mind there are less people who would buy. And that is definitely a concern. Well, that is a, technically, that is a concern. And that's, I mean, it is an issue, but there are also some paintings that you do, and the goal isn't necessarily to sell them. I mean, if someone buys them, great, but sometimes it's not about selling them. But yes, it is a concern. Better not to go for standard size. Um, I mean, standard sizes have benefits. There's definitely benefits to going with with standard sizes. Generally, I stick to standard sizes, generally speaking. However, when it comes to like this particular piece, no, it's not about the size. The canvas has to be cut out for the work, not the other way around. Cookie Monster says so your work will feel more individual. I get what you're saying. Probably some truth to that. What I would say is, I think, like many things, having a variety is useful. And I will say that when you start getting into the larger sizes, because the larger sizes already start having their own limitations, as to like who can afford them, uh, you know, how much they cost, and so on. Standard sizes are, I think, even less important because like people at that point are willing, you know, they're willing to spend the extra money to get a custom frame. They're not looking to buy a off the shelf frame. I have like a fan brush that I often use. I'll get it at some point for this painting because it's when I do like anytime I do what's it called, hair or um fur. I like to use it. I like to use it to help give the feathering and the bristles and everything. But I have to be careful because there's a tendency to like overwork that part aspect of it, to kind of rely on it, kind of like a Photoshop brush to do fur. And that's not good. Like I'm a firm believer that you should be able to paint a cat or something with like hard square brushes and like absolutely no feathering at all. Um, I mean, it'll look blocky, chunky, and wrong up close, but at a distance, it should look right. Berry, I'm just going to go with berry because I don't know how to pronounce the last part. Berry El Bonique? Barry, welcome. Barry says, "Oh, to be a cat and just go meow all day." I mean, I'm pretty sure they do more, but I get where you're coming from. That says cats are royalty in this world. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Okay, so here's one thing about cats that I like. I mean, there's a lot of things you could envy or not envy about cats, but here's one thing I will say about cats. Um, that I find super interesting. They never seem to have like um you know tight muscles or like you know um like they're a kink in their neck or something like that because like they sleep in the most bizarre you know most bizarre ways and they still just get up no problem. I'm like, man, I wish. It says our sat in the open window most of the day. Yeah. Yeah. They love those windows. They're always stretching, super flexible. Yeah, seriously. Cookie Monster says cats are my favorite animal of all times. I feel that. They really sleep in the most bizarre positions and are fine. But the moment I do, my neck hurts for hours. Really unfair. Exactly. I've seen them sleep in the most like it's like, what is wrong with you, cat? Why are you sleeping like this? And they're just fine. That says we have too many. You have too many cats. That says yes. Many cats equals less mice. Win-win. Eh, I don't know that I go with that. More cat litter, more mouths to feed. It can be too much. I've gone to like places that are like I went to someone's home and that was like a cat rescue type of place. It was too much. It was too much. I'm glad she's doing it, of rescuing and doing all that stuff, but it was too much. Really like the way I paint the fur. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I am layering it, so I'm going to be going in with like brighter white at some point. So I am partially building up layers. Although layers is a little misleading because if I can, I'm going to do it all technically in one layer while it's still wet, but you can still kind of layer even when it's, wet into wet. And if you already knew that, sorry, some people don't know that, but yeah, I'm just, yeah. Are you an artist, by the way, Barry? Des says, my daughter has four and my sister has four, and we all live together. Oh, 8 cats, that's a lot. Yeah. Barry says, yeah, but more sketches. I suck at painting. Hey, gotta start somewhere, you know. And like everyone starts somewhere. It's not, you know, not a big deal kind of thing. And you might end up being like some people are better at sketching, some people are better at other things, um, but you never know. All right. There's some stuff in the background that I haven't put in yet. I'm gonna get some of that in to help the dynamics of the painting. If you ask me what's going on in the background, I have no idea. I did not take the photo, the original photo, and the background is all blurred out. I think it's either like all bokeh, like, camera stuff, or it was fake by the person who did it. I think it's bokeh, honestly. But I am not going to attempt to make real bokeh because I don't actually like I've seen artists who do that. They'll paint in like if their reference or they do it on purpose is bokeh, they'll paint it in just like it so that you'll get all the like bokeh balls and everything. I don't like that because it just looks too much like a photograph then, in my opinion. So I will take the concept of the background and try and make it into something, painterly that I like. But I'm not going to try and paint bokeh balls exactly. The cat looks somehow angelic. Thanks, Barry. I get what you're saying. It kind of does. Hi, Misu. Hi, little girl. I know. This is Misu, my one of my other cats. She's very vocal and doesn't always like to be picked up. So she started hissing at me. But she hisses a lot. I'm not afraid of her. Toby, yeah, Tobin's. She has a docked ear. She was a rescue, and they clipped the ear to show that they were, what's it called? Fixed. Little girl. Hey. Oh, little girl. Okay. We have a feral that has a slit in its ear from rescue organization. Yeah. She's she's a funny cat. Like she'll make drama out of it, even though like she's fine. I don't whatever. Yeah, she's a weirdo. She'll like I'll go and pick her up and she'll just hiss at me, just like all right, whatever. But she won't attack. She won't do anything. Cookie Monster says, I don't see the reference photo, but I think the cat is sitting on a windowsill. I don't know. The reference photo is so tight on the cat that I can't really tell. I think it might be as well. And I think it's a photo at night with like fairy lights in the background that are blown out from the photo reference. That's what it looks like to me. Anyways. Ow. It's already 8. Wow. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night for this stream. I'm getting hungry. I think I need to go eat dinner. Yeah. Like I said, my stream schedule is going to change, but I will try and post an actual schedule and keep to it. Um, I think that's been something that I need to really do. Oh, before I go, Barry says, how long will it take to dry though? Most paintings take about, well, dry to the touch is usually a couple days. Usually like 3 or 4 days max. Cured takes longer than that. I can usually um, varnish it with a retouch varnish um, within a within a couple weeks. Days, yeah, usually takes about at least a day. I mean, sometimes it can be just a single day, but usually it's like even if it seems kind of dry to the touch, it's usually not really dry to the touch. If you mess with it, it'll come off. Yeah, you're really painting then? Yeah, I mean, yes, these are all oil paintings. I mean, you want to see here, um, I have more all oil paintings that says if it's not thick paint or really heavily layered, yeah, if it's not thick or heavily layered, it'll really thick paint will take weeks to dry. Thanks, Barry. Yeah, no, I have quite a bit of paintings. Most of these were done on stream, or or I have videos of them on my YouTube. Cookie Monster says, thanks for the stream. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, I really want to get back to doing videos. I've just been tough lately. But Barry, I do have a YouTube channel and I have some videos. And the goal is to get back to making, videos about painting and everything. So yeah. Um, but yeah, no, um, with all the AI and stuff going on, it's nice to have like physical, real things and to, show that I'm actually painting and you can see the whole process from start to finish and everything, it's really nice. It's one of the things I really enjoy about painting. And just the physicality of painting too is there's something really satisfying about it. So yeah. Des says, make sure you like this stream, everyone. Thank you, Des. I appreciate that. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me get the link to my YouTube because uh, I'm so bad at like promoting myself and everything. Um, how do I get here? I'll put the link in. Oh, Barry, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. I appreciate that. That's sweet. Um, Also, do I have is the Discord links on my Twitch work? I don't. I'm good at painting, not good at like promoting and all the other stuff. Um, but if you want to join the Discord, there's also a Discord link. Let me see if I can get that. You know, it's not the most like it's not the most active Discord in the world, but it oh no it's not the most active Discord in the world, but it is functional and people ask questions and can talk art, and if you ever have questions and stuff, it's a great place to uh yeah, to grow your art and also show it. We love seeing other people's work. We for the first time got to see Cookie Monster's artwork today, which was awesome. Um, Let me share Cookie Monster's copy link address here. This isn't mine. This is Cookie Monster from hold on a second. That didn't work. This is from my YouTube chat, but you can see Cookie Monster's stuff there. Barry says, unfortunately, no Discord. No worries. There's Instagram. If you want to connect that way, my website, whatever you feel like, whatever works best for you. But yeah, thank you so much, Des. Thank you for all the links and help. I appreciate that. And have a good night, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend if it's still the weekend. And like I said, I'm going to try and post actual times and dates when I'm going to be streaming. So yeah, look out for that. I'll probably post it on my Discord and YouTube channel. All right, have a good one, everybody. Bye. Cookie Monster says, "Oh, thanks, Dad. I appreciate that. Absolutely, I want to share your work, Cookie Monster. I want to share everyone's work, especially since you've been so consistently part of the community. So absolutely. All right, have a good one, everyone. Good night."